I rang my daughter Sophie to ask about the christening date for her new baby, and my son-in-law Tom fixed me with a smug grin and said, "We did it last Sunday, Mum. Only invited the inner circle." I stood there in my own kitchen, the one I'd paid to have refitted for them, clutching a 150-pound outfit I'd bought for the occasion. I said nothing. I quietly cancelled the £2,000 monthly standing order that kept their mortgage afloat. And what happened next had the bailiffs knocking while the neighbors filmed the whole sorry show on their mobiles. The aga was still warm from the shepherd's pie I'd brought round earlier, Sophie's favorite since she was 6. I'd let myself in with the spare key, the one they'd insisted I keep for emergencies, arms full of Waitrose bags and the tiny cream christening gown I'd found in a Chester boutique. Silk, hand-embroidered, £150 on my pensioner's debit card. I'd pictured little Amelia in it, pictured myself holding her over the font while the vicar dripped water and the organ wheezed out, all things bright and beautiful. I'd even ironed my navy two-piece and bought new court shoes that pinched. Tom was sprawled on the sofa I'd paid John Lewis £3,200 for, feet on the coffee table I'd sourced from a reclamation yard in Shropshire. Sophie was in the kitchen, back turned, clattering mugs like nothing had happened. The baby monitor glowed on the counter, Amelia asleep upstairs in the cot I'd assembled myself at 11 p.m. 3 weeks ago because Tom's got a bad back, Mum. "So when's the christening, love?" I asked, trying to keep the excitement out of my voice. "I've got the outfit here, thought we could book the church hall after, maybe a bit of a do." Tom didn't even look up from his phone. "We did it last Sunday, Mum. St. Michael's. Only invited the inner circle." The words landed like a slap. Inner circle. I felt the blood drain from my face, but I didn't drop the gown. I stood there in the doorway between my £18,000 kitchen, soft-closed drawers, quartz worktops, the lot, clutching a 150-pound scrap of silk that would never be worn. Sophie finally turned. It was really low-key. Just us, Tom's parents, my uni lot. You know how you hate a fuss. I hate a fuss. That was rich. I'd spent 43 years making sure nobody in this family ever had to fuss, school fees, orthodontist, Sophie's wedding at Gosworth Hall, Tom's deposit on this overpriced semi in Wilmslow. £2,000 a month for 4 years, 96 grand, straight from my late husband's life insurance into their mortgage so they could get on the ladder. I'd eaten own brand beans on toast so they could have the Smeg fridge and the bifold doors. I opened my mouth, closed it again. Counted to 5. "Right," I said. "I'll just put the kettle on." Tom smirked. "Actually, we're knackered. Early start tomorrow, Tom's got a pitch." He waved his phone like it was a warrant. "Maybe take the gown back? Save yourself the hassle." I smiled. The same smile I'd used when Sophie was 8 and tried to blame the dog for eating the birthday cake. "Course, love. I'll sort it." I left the gown on the counter, took my coat, and drove home to Didsbury with the radio off. The silence was loud enough. That night I sat at the pine table Frank and I had bought in 1981, before Sophie, before the cancer, before the building society swallowed our savings and spat out a terrace house. I opened the banking app. The standing order was there, neat as you like, £2,000 to T&S Whitaker, first of every month. I hovered over, cancel. My thumb trembled. Then I pressed it. Confirmation pinged. Done. I didn't sleep. At 3 a.m. I was still staring at the ceiling, thinking about the £12,000 I'd given them for the loft conversion, the £5,000 for Tom's startup that never started, the £800 emergency dentist bill when Sophie cracked a tooth on a pistachio. I thought about the christening photos I'd never be in. I thought about Tom's smirk. Next morning I rang the estate agent who'd sold them the house. "Morning, Darren. Margaret Whitaker here, Sophie's mum. Just wondering how much equity they've got in that Wilmslow place." Darren owed me a favor. I'd recommended him to half the WI. 10 minutes later he texted, £42,000. For years of my money and they'd barely dented the capital. I made a cup of tea, strong, no sugar, and opened my laptop. I transferred the £42,000 I still had in my ISA into a new account at Nationwide, sole name, paperless, no linked cards. Then I emailed their mortgage provider from my phone, pretending to be Sophie. Hi, please confirm the account for direct debits has changed, new sort code attached. I'd watched her type her password enough times. The PDF I attached was a forgery I'd knocked up in Canva at 2 a.m., good enough for a call center drone. By 9:17 a.m. the standing order was rerouted to my new account. Their £2,000 would bounce straight back come the 1st. I gave it a week. On the 1st, my phone buzzed at 8:03 a.m. Sophie. I let it ring out. 3 missed calls, then a text, Mum, the mortgage payment failed? Landlord's fuming. Call me ASAP. I was in the bath. I finished my L'Occitane verbena soak, dried my hair, and put on the navy two-piece after all. I looked bloody good for 71. By 11 a.m. the street WhatsApp was alive. Mrs. Patel next door sent a voice note, Margaret, love, there's a van outside Sophie's. 2 blokes in high-vis, look serious. I walked round the corner with a Tupperware of Victoria sponge like I was just being neighborly. The bailiffs were already there, Marston Group, no nonsense. One was sticking a notice to the front door, possession order, 14 days to vacate. Sophie was on the driveway in Tom's hoodie, hair in a bird's nest bun, shouting into her phone. Tom was pacing, red-faced, yelling at someone from the bank. Amelia was screaming in her pram. I stood on the pavement, sponge in hand. Sophie spotted me. Mum. Thank God. Tell them there's been a mix-up with the direct debit. I tilted my head. Mix-up? The money didn't go through. We're £2,000 short and they're saying we're in arrears. I took a bite of sponge. Gosh. That's awkward. Tom stormed over. Margaret, sort this out. You've always covered it. I smiled sweetly. Have I? Must have forgotten. Old age, you know. Sophie's face crumpled. You said you'd help us forever. No, love. I said I'd help you get on your feet. You're 34. Feet are on. Time to stand. The bailiff cleared his throat. 14 days, folks. After that, we changed the locks. Tom tried to square up to him, 6'2" of entitled fury in chinos. The bailiff didn't flinch. Step back, sir, or we involve the police. Mrs. Patel was filming from her upstairs window. Mr. Cohen opposite had his phone out too. By tea time the video was on the Wilmslow community page, caption, influencer couple get a reality check face with tears of joy #karma. 3,000 views and rising. Sophie rang again that night, hysterical. We've nowhere to go. Tom's parents won't have us, his mum's having the spare room decorated. I was watching Gardener's World. Premier Inn's nice. Or there's that Travelodge by the airport, £39 a night if you book ahead. You're enjoying this. I muted Monty Don. Sophie, I'm 71. I've got arthritis in my hips and a pension that barely covers the heating. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm just done. The line went dead. 2 weeks later the removal van arrived. I watched from my lounge window as they loaded the sofa, the smeg, the bifold doors they'd never paid for. Tom tried to blag the bailiffs with a sob story about elderly mum going funny in the head. The bailiff handed him a card, take it up with citizens' advice, mate. Sophie carried Amelia down the path in the same pram I'd bought. She looked up at my window. Our eyes met. For a second I thought she might wave, might mouth sorry. Instead she turned away. I closed the curtains, poured a sherry, and opened my new Nationwide app. £42,000 sitting pretty. I booked a fortnight in Crete, flights, hotel, the lot. £1,800. Pocket money. The estate agent rang the next day. Mrs. Whitaker, your daughter's house is on at £425,000. Reckon we'll get asking price, market's mad. List mine too, I said. I'm downsizing. Somewhere with a sea view. 3 months later I was in a flat overlooking the Irish Sea, wind in my hair, sherry in my hand. The Wilmslow WhatsApp still pings occasionally. Someone spotted Sophie working the till at Aldi, Tom delivering for Uber Eats. Amelia's in a state nursery now. The christening gown sold on Vint for £80. I bought myself a pair of binoculars instead. Some debts, love, can't be paid in pounds.